years old, attending a school called the Dalton School in New York City. And I experienced racism for the first time and asked someone, what did it mean and how could I change it? A girl that I thought I was cool with, she was a white girl, Debbie, who told all the other white girls, since I was the only black girl in this camp experience, that at midnight I grew a tail and scales. So when I talk about racism, I'm talking about really egregious racism at a very young age. I was attending a school that only had approximately 10 people of color in the entire school. So it was a very different environment. And in terms of academia, it was the best thing for me. And so I didn't want to disturb that opportunity, but I knew that something had to be done. Thereafter, I continued to go to after-school programs specifically with black children to get a better understanding of how to deal with the issues in a community that was predominantly wealthy whites, and it was beneficial to me. I had so many mentors that poured into my life before I actually stepped out on my own to do some work, but it did ground me so that I didn't respond in anger, but I respond in change. The hope comes from seeing a very diverse group of people, particularly my white allies, coming out in large numbers and really wanting to do something. They're not just talking on social media, but they are really engaged in this fight. And that makes a big deal. More importantly, there are young people as well as old people. We have transcended religious backgrounds. It is just really an intersectional movement right now, and I'm very happy about that. So it gives me great hope. I think that we all have the ability to do something to create this movement and to build this movement. Some of us have been called, and that's where I am. I was called to do this work, and there's no question about it for me. You know, I've been doing prison ministry for over 40 years as an activist in New York City, and then coming here in Charlotte being an activist. It's nothing different. People are people. But I can't say it's a lot more difficult doing this work here, and it's simply because of the climate and the environment and how people see activism and organizing. Very different and very difficult, quite frankly. I know one thing. I know that we all must be active in order for us to create the change that we say that we desire. It is not enough for us to stay behind our keyboards in social media and talk about it. We've got to get into the streets. We've got to get into these rooms and come together and figure out ways to create policy to make real change.